Hi everybody. So this is a tweet from Richie Allen, Beth Rigby on Sky News. Just now, Johnson said the army will be brought in to defend Downing Street and critical infrastructure to allow the police to enforce rules more effectively. 6 months if cases don't drop, said Johnson. This is what totalitarianism looks like. Well, actually they've planned all of this for a hard Brexit anyway. Okay, you know, this was from last year, look, 27th of January 2019. Government planning for martial law under emergency no-deal Brexit preparations. Well, they can't call this upcoming no-deal Brexit an emergency. Okay, it isn't an emergency. They've had how many years? Over 5 years really planning for this. You know, when a government gives people the opportunity to vote about leaving the EU and telling them, oh no, there will be a deal. No, of course we're not going to have a hard Brexit. Anybody saying that, they're just fear-mongering, they're scaremongering. The NHS is going to have another 350 million a week. All it means is that we won't have as much immigration and stuff, right? Then we find out that, oh, no, actually, they didn't like Theresa May's deal. Boris Johnson allegedly wins an election. I say allegedly because, you know, I don't know of any country, actually, in the free world where the people would tolerate their postal service being privatised and mostly in the hands of the government ministers that have privatised it, and even the managing and counting of the postal vote privatised, and again all with direct connections to Tory ministers, and then that government gives itself a landslide victory allegedly to get Brexit done with its oven ready deal, and then we find out that no, the deal isn't oven ready, and Boris Johnson is quite happy to break international law and scrap the Good Friday Agreement to boot and pull out of Britain of what amounts to a criminal attack against our nation and its people. Because, you know, a hard Brexit, nobody votes for a hard Brexit. I mean, it's just stupid. There's not one nation in Europe, whether they're part of the EU or not, they've all got trade deals with the EU. They're not that stupid. No, nobody votes to punish themselves. A hard Brexit is what Britain would get if the EU just kicked Britain out, which Britain would be kicked out the very moment they scrapped human rights and workers' rights and animal rights and environmental and protection safety and health and safety protocols. We would be kicked out and we'd have no deal. We would have nothing. Right? Now, I tell you now, there are millions of people's lives at risk here. I'm not talking about COVID-19. This was all before, well before COVID-19. Okay, they were planning martial law a long time. This was going to be happening this is going to be happening as soon as they come out on the 31st of December. That is what's there. I've been told that the army is packing millions of ration boxes, and I've asked the government directly, are you doing that? I have yet to receive a reply. Ration boxes. Think about it, people. Did we vote for this? Is that what people were told we were voting for in the referendum? Were the people of Northern Ireland, who actually voted to stay in the EU anyway, were they told that actually what you're voting for is to have a hard border across your land and a resurgence of all the troubles? This is what they're doing. You know, look, body bags being stockpiled as part of a no-deal Brexit preparations. This is a neurologist who took part in Operation Yellowhammer. Medicine shortages. Said people who support no deal need to be aware of the harm. Be aware of the harm. Increased mortality rate. He said body bags are being stockpiled over concerns there could be an increased mortality rate. Not could, will be an increased mortality rate. He said you're trying to make a choice between life-threatening and morbidity. Ultimately, I'm trying to make a choice that people are not going to die, but they are going to suffer. They are going to suffer. Okay? So, you know, these are... Sorry, I got the wrong thing up there. You know, this is what is happening. Well, now they've got COVID, they've got COVID-19 to fall back on as well, haven't they? Now they can just tell everybody, oh, well, we're locking you all up for COVID, when we know damn well that actually, as the case numbers rise, alleged case numbers, because how many times do we have to explain? Do I have to explain to people they are not testing specifically for COVID-19? Okay? This is what they're testing for. Coronavirus, okay? A positive test result shows you might have antibodies from an infection with the virus. This is from the CDC, American CDC. However, there is a chance a positive result means you have antibodies from an infection with a virus from the same family of viruses called coronaviruses, such as the one that causes the common cold. Okay, if you go and have a look at Johnson's coronavirus bill, the government has stated, page 25, I think it's paragraph 8, line 25, the government states very clearly that coronavirus means COVID-19. That's the law. If you go to the hospital and you get test positive for a coronavirus, which, as the CDC explains, is the same as a common cold, you test positive for a common cold, you've tested positive for coronavirus, you're assumed that you've got COVID-19 and you put on the COVID-19 list. So they're testing people for what? They're testing people for coronavirus and assuming everybody who tests positive therefore has COVID-19. That is what is going on. And that's why, as the numbers are rising, as the more people test, oh, but the fatality rates are falling. But they're still locking people up. They're still imposing the same draconian rules for a pandemic that is at most now, what, 0.4% at worst, which is less than the flu. We're talking about something less damaging than the average flu. Okay? Forget about the death figures they're talking about. You know, thousands and thousands, tens of thousands of people die of flu in peak years in Britain. The deaths this year, up to now, are down from what they have been in previous years. A long, long way down. Tens of thousands down. The deaths during lockdown, non-COVID deaths, peaked. We actually had more deaths due to lockdown than we had from COVID. The lockdown killed more people than COVID-19. And a lot of the people who were alleged to have died from COVID-19, we've now found out that they were lying about those figures. This was the situation as of March 2020. COVID-19 is no longer considered to be a high consequence infectious disease. This is from the college, UK. I've forgotten what they call it now. But this is on a government website. You go to uk.gov, okay? You will find this on their website. Status of COVID-19. It has not changed. It has never, ever changed. That's the status. It is not a high consequence infectious disease. And it still isn't. It never has been. For a brief moment, it was. But before the lockdown was imposed, it was already stated. Oh, the Imperial College, UK Imperial College, had already, and this is from a government website. You can go and see it to this very day. I will leave you the link to it. We have to get real. You've got to get real, people. Please. Please stop. Turn off the BBC and Sky News, the whole lot of them. Even a lot of these alternative medias that are actually promoting, you know, stuff like Breitbart. Breitbart's recently come out and said, oh, you know, Johnson's running a coup against the British people and blah. Of course he is. We've known it for ages. We don't need Breitbart to tell us that. But Breitbart's are telling us that just so the mainstream media can then point at people like me who've been explaining that a long time before Breitbart did. Oh, well, I'm part of the alternative far-right extremist brigade, aren't I? I'm a Tommy Robinson Trump supporter, which I am not. But, you know, that's basically what's been happening. They're trying to divide us. They're dividing the issues. They're dividing the people, telling people that, oh, well, you know, if you start asking questions about COVID, you're one of the far-right extremists. Well, you're not. These are the facts, people. Everybody, you need to get with the facts. This has not changed, right? If COVID was now considered a high consequence infectious disease, this would have been altered by now, and it hasn't. And it isn't a high consequence because with the amount of people now testing positive, but you know, when your government has stated in its coronavirus bill, and I will leave you the link, go and check it out for yourself, this lying criminal government has stated that coronavirus means COVID-19, SARS-CoV-2, right? That's what they have stated, right? That means that definition is the law. And the law is what the NHS is being asked to stand by. And all the private bodies that they've got dealing with this, they're all expected to stand by this thing now. It is absolutely outrageous that people are testing for the common cold and being told that they've got COVID-19. It's absolutely disgusting. How can... I just don't understand how people can tolerate this. I really don't. I really don't. And, you know, I'm asking this here. And it appears Johnson has robbed the NHS of 100 billion to subsidise the test providers. Probably in interests of national security. Why so quiet about this, Britain? 2/3 of NHS budget gone on useless tests, while patients left waiting 7 years for NHS treatment. Because, you know, as people are saying now, the NHS Foundation Trust chairperson, it doesn't make sense to set up a separate system of privately run labs for COVID testing when local NHS lab capacity is still not being used. Outsourcing to private companies for profit instead of using our NHS. Well, I tell you, what has the 100 billion been spent on then? 2/3 of the NHS budget, Johnson has now reallocated for testing. So where's it gone? Where's it gone? It's gone into setting up all these private tests that they're charging people for. Is that money going to be coming back to the NHS? No, it isn't. It's going to the private profiteers, isn't it? And plus, they've robbed our NHS of 100 billion to do it. I can't think of a nation more stupid, more brainwashed, more dumbed down, or else just plain pig ignorant, couldn't care less than the British people. I cannot imagine what France would be doing faced with the prospect of body bags. The only thing that their government has done to prepare for Brexit is stockpiling body bags. And there's nothing for the NHS, robbed out, not giving our NHS an extra 350 million a week. No, robbed our NHS of 100 billion. I can't think of any country that would tolerate a postal vote result that swung the election to give these criminals an alleged landslide victory, that they would tolerate this level of shenanigans. The postal vote suddenly doubling. Run by IDOX and Halrose, both Tory companies. Okay? They did, this shows you the postal vote, it was swung. The postal vote swung a landslide victory for Boris Johnson. And the British people, you're just going to swallow it. You're going to swallow it. You're going to swallow all this crap. You're going to get ready for martial law. You're going to get ready for queuing up under the point of a gun. You're going to have your vaccinations under the point of a gun. Vaccinations delivered by members from the public who they're going to recruit to vaccinate people with an experimental gene editing vaccine that you don't know what's going to do to you. Oh gosh, my gosh, people. I cannot believe that this is my country. That I cannot believe this is Britain. Surely people cannot be this stupid. Where are you? Where are you, British people? Why aren't you standing on your doorsteps? You don't need to break their stupid laws, do you? You got on your doorstep and clapped every bloody week for an actually shut down NHS. Get out on your doorsteps and clap for your human rights every single bloody night of the week. Everybody, every person in this country that cares about our nation, that cares about the people of Britain. How many people are going to suffer? They are going to drive this country down to civil war. To get to establish their evil tax haven, because that's what all this is about. And I'll leave you the link. Intel for Brexit. You need to bloody well read it, people. Because they're going to hit us when we're at our most vulnerable, in the middle of winter, in the middle of their manufactured pandemic. And they're going to kill people, telling the NHS to stock up on body bags. Look, yeah, I am angry. I'm not ashamed of my passion, okay? No. Sorry, psychopaths. Go away. It's the one thing that you can never match me on, because none of you are real. None of you have ever really lived. You up there high and mighty in your government offices. You don't know what reality is. Well, I know it. And I know the reality of this country. And I know the reality of what we are facing. If the British people do not get together now, lose your divisions, stop your petty philandering, fucking arguing over masks and, oh, they're not social distancing, oh, they've got more than 6 people in the queue. Like, just go away. Stand up for your human rights while you've still got a right to do it. Do it, people. And do it now.